Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. Before I get any further, I am really in the presence of somebody that is in the media, production, movies, and everything else. Shelby Elwood.
I'm your number one
fan, man.
Thank you so much.
I'm
so glad to be here with you today. Doing great.
Cobrainey.
Staying busy, excited.
Cobrainey Media.
Yes.
Where does Cobrainey, do you think about these things, or somebody nudges you at night and go, hey honey, we should name this media company Cobrainey? How does that come about?
You know, my husband calls me Cobra, like Shelby Cobra.
Yeah.
And he goes by Brainy, that's his nickname. And when you put those two together, the overlap is Cobrainey. So we are Cobrainey Media.
As in Cobrain.
As in two brains, that's right.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit more about what you do. More specifically what you do.
I started with a videography company, and we've grown it into a film production company. We do film and television, do some music videos, industrials, commercials. We actually started being based in Memphis, Tennessee, and have expanded into Phoenix, and just now growing into Chattanooga. So working my way toward Atlanta as we get more business and more work. But things are good.
Is it tough to come to Phoenix and compete with, I can see where Memphis, because they have a lot of tax breaks over in Tennessee, right? They're really screaming, come and film here, right? But not here in Arizona so much.
Right, and I'm learning more about the business of Arizona.
Sure.
I just in the last year got really involved in state film incentives and advising, working with the state of Alabama on their revision.
Right.
They're revising their state laws. I'm doing more work right now with screenwriting in Arizona. So that kind of doesn't affect anything in the film capacity. I hope to shoot some films here. I've got some scripts that are set in the desert, and this would be the perfect location, obviously. So We'll see. We'll see how things go with the bill that's in the House right now. Take
the glamour away from what you do. Because if I want to be like you, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be limo driven all over the place. I'm in the...
Oh, geez.
I'm in the movies, man. I'm in the movie business. But it doesn't work that way, right? Somebody that wanted to get to where you are right now, tell us about that journey.
I was always a writer. I was a technical writer in another life, and I started doing creative writing, so I started doing screenwriting and playwriting, and we had a small company, a videography business in Chattanooga, so I learned camera, and I learned editing, and I already knew the business. So I started putting it all together and realized what I do is producer work.
Right.
And in doing that, figured out that you never stop learning. You never stop learning. But as far as the glamour of it, oh good grief. I'm in a production right now. I'm shooting a documentary in Memphis right now, and I think I have driven 6,000 miles since February the 1st in my beat-up Saturn. Yes, those luxury limo rides. I hope to rent one for the red carpet.
By the way, who's going to win the Oscars this year, 2016? Who's going to win?
Oh, wow.
Best actor.
I'll
help you.
Leo.
I was going to say, Leo is my man.
Yeah,
Leo is my man. I just watched the movie the other day, man. It was just, it was a movie date. Wrong movie for the date, but it was a good.
Still, he brings it every time.
You work behind the cameras.
I do, yes.
Do you miss maybe working in front of the cameras? Did you ever have that itch? Hey, maybe I'll just go in front of the camera a little bit.
I've done a few in front of the camera gigs by request,
yes.
But that's not what I aspire to. I do not have any ambition to be an actress. That sometimes when they need to fill in or an extra, I jump out there. But for the most part, I'm a writer-producer, and right now I'm directing as well.
What is the biggest challenge for somebody in your business? Is it selling the script? Is it convincing others that what you have is golden? Is it marketing? What is it? What is the biggest challenge?
Wow. Writing a script, the field is wide and the door is narrow. So you have to be all about the business. And that's one of the things that I've come to realize is the business of the business. I had an investor tell me recently, I really don't care what your script is about. I just want to know, how am I going to make my money back? Oh.
He had no concern about it. He
Not
cared
at all.
less about what the
Not
script
at
was
all.
about.
Not at all. It could be cats or basketball or
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
How am I going to
Tell
make my
me,
money back?
This is a business, and I'm a businessman, and that was a very telling moment for me. It made me realize my passion is not enough. I've got to add my passion to my brain and pitch it as the business that it is. Sorry, I can't quote the name, but a famous Hollywood producer said, "Show business. Without the business, there's no show."
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
So that's what I've come to realize, and being a producer is all about the business.
I think that was Mr. Mayer, as a matter of fact.
I think you're probably right.
I think he was. I think he said that, by the way.
And he's spot on. And then that's what I've come to find out face to face.
From Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer back in the day.
Uh-huh,
I think he said that.
Uh-huh.
But here's what's interesting about it is that you have your passion in your writing, right? I mean, and you have to have that inspiration to write and to write compelling stories that are meaningful and that really fills you up, right? But then you have to wear that other hat. You have to wear the business hat in order to make that passion bankable. And you have realized that you have to wear both hats. And if you're speaking to the investor, you put your passion in a little compartment. All right, Mr. Businessman, here's how you're going to make your money back.
Yes.
Forget about the script for a second, but here's how you're going to make your money back.
It's not unusual to see writer-directors, because both of those are coming from creative elements. It's a little more unusual to see writer-producers, because it's left brain, right brain. I guess I straddle the fence on that one. But it works. It keeps me happy. It keeps me busy.
Once you have a script done and you already have it sold to Mr. Businessman, what happens next?
Well, the next thing after when you sell a script, you're selling your rights to that script. So at that point, it's somebody else's baby. You take your money, you go away, you start working on your next story. If you're going to do it yourself, you hire a producer. And at that point, the producer starts finding money to get the story made.
So you get paid for the script, and you're out, essentially.
Yes.
That script, that idea, that passion, after you're paid for, it might sit on a shelf for a long period of time.
It can never get made. In fact, there's actually a third compartment that someone can option that script. I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars to consider this script for a duration of time. Over that duration of time, if they decide they like it or there's a demand for it, then they may go ahead and buy the script from you. But if not, after the duration has expired, it goes back to you.
Bloodpool sat on a shelf there for about 15 years.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to touch it.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful movie. I mean, it's really a lot of fun.
But movie trends come and go. If you notice, there will be a huge wave of family films. There will be a huge wave of crime dramas. There will be a huge wave of superheroes. You don't write a script that's out of step with what the market wants. And a good producer knows what the market did. They ride the wave of what the market wants.
Is it a chicken and egg situation, though? I mean, what determines what?
Probably.
Because if you have a script that you think it's right now it's not that popular, but it's a heck of a script, aren't you in fact determining what the next wave is going to be?
Once you start seeing things, and I think television is a good example of that, because you get one or two hit shows, and suddenly by the next year there's 53 clones of that show. So television has a shorter turnaround time, so you see the trend a lot quicker than you do in film.
You started off with Hill Street Blues, and the next thing you know, you have all these cop shows all around.
Gosh. Yes.
The younger people, they probably don't know what Hill Street Blues is all about, right? Google it.
I may have read about it. Okay, I watched it.
Well, it was one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Were you always a movie buff when you were growing up?
You know, I was a reader. I was more of a reader than a watcher. And I wasn't that big into television either, because I was a reader when readers make good writers because
Yes.
you understand storytelling. So really, I kind of came into this business sideways as a writer and a businesswoman to put it together to become a producer.
What's the best book that you've ever read?
Oh,
Most memorable
geez.
book.
Oh.
The one that said, "Oh my goodness, this is so good, I can't put it down."
You know what? I always love what I'm reading at the time, but there was a book called Joshua, My Son. And it was the imagination that the doctor in the hospital in Dallas who did the autopsy on John Kennedy after he
Yes,
was shot,
yes.
took a piece of his flesh and cloned him and raised the next JFK. And that story was, it was beautiful, it was chilling, it was haunting, it was, oh my gosh, what if he hadn't died? So I'm a history buff, and I enjoy that kind of what ifs. I really like historical fiction the best, I think.
It's a beautiful thing. It's
Yeah,
a beautiful
yeah.
thing. Shelby, Elwood, man, it's just my pleasure.
Thank you.
We could probably have this conversation all day long.
Oh
'cause I'm a
gosh,
movie
there's
buff.
so much. Yeah, there's so much.
But with that, we're going to invite you back because I know that you travel all the time and you beat up Subaru for 6,000 miles in a short period of time. But
Yep.
I tell you what, when I'm famous, I'm going to send a limo out for you.
Oh, Francisco, thank you.
Oh, honey, give me a kiss. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
The limo's
Nice
outside.
to see you.
The limo's outside the door. It'll take you anywhere you
I'll
wanna
be
go.
there. I'll be there.
And with that, we're out.